Sir Davos Seaworth is one of the few indisputably good characters in Game of Thrones, sticking up for the persecuted and offering wise counsel to kings and paupers alike. But what do we really know about him? What drives him? And what crucial role will he play in Season 7? Hi everyone, this is Robert. Welcome to In Deep Geek, particularly if you're a first-time viewer. Please do consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Davos Seaworth had one of the most humble upbringings out of all the characters in Game of Thrones. He grew up in Flea Bottom, the lowest slum in King's Landing, the son of a penniless crabber. Despite this start, he has risen to great heights, acting as the most trusted advisor to Stannis Baratheon, and now Jon Snow as king in the north. How he achieved this tells us a lot about his character, and why he acts the way he does, speaking the truth as he sees it, regardless of the audience or the possible consequences. While still young, Davos decided to escape from the confines of Flea Bottom. He became a sailor, rising up the ranks until he could take command of his own ship. For a while he pursued a successful career as a smuggler, specializing in slipping unnoticed into harbours at the dead of night, black sails invisible in the darkness. It is by doing this that he came to the attention of Stannis Baratheon. During Robert's rebellion, Storm's End was besieged. The forces within, led by Stannis, were running low on food. Very low. Davos smuggled in new supplies for them of whatever he could lay his hands on, most notably onions. This act saved Stannis and his men, meaning that they could hold out until the siege was broken. Davos's reward was a knighthood, although it didn't go down too well with his new peers. Plenty of nobles in the Stormlands mocked him because of his lowborn status, calling him the Onion Knight in reference to how he got his honour. Davos's reaction to this mockery is instructive. He doesn't grumble, or take offence, or fight back. Instead, he embraces it. He tells them that it's true. He is the Onion Knight. He doesn't come from a noble background, and he doesn't fit in with many of their noble ideals. But he is who he is. He takes the onion, the symbol of their disdain and of his humble origins, and adopts it as his sigil, an emblem of truth and openness about who he is. Alongside the reward of a title and lands, Davos also accepts a punishment from Stannis for his life as a smuggler, the loss of the ends of the fingers of one of his hands. While this may seem a little harsh of Stannis, given that Davos had just saved his life, Davos does not complain. His view was that it was a small price to pay to secure the kind of privileged upbringing for his children that he never had. Besides, Davos knew that he had been a smuggler and an outlaw for many years, and felt it was probably only fair for him to submit to the Lord's justice for that. Over the years that followed, Davos gained Stannis' trust. Stannis respected his straight talking and even on occasion took his advice, a rare thing indeed for a man as single-minded as Stannis Baratheon. The strength of this bond can be seen through their differing reactions to the rise of Rahilor worship on Dragonstone. Stannis is won over. He accepts its tenets, authorises the destruction of artifacts from other religions, believes Melisandre's assertions that he is Azor Ahai reborn, and makes her his new most trusted advisor. Davos, on the other hand, is sceptical. He sees his family and then his lord convert fully to a new religion, but isn't once tempted to join it himself. He consistently counsels Stannis to go against Melisandre's guidance, even in front of her face, and knowing that it is a very dangerous thing to do. But his commitment to telling the truth as he sees it is far more important to him. His outspokenness eventually lands him in a prison cell in Dragonstone, when lesser men may have seen discretion as the better part of valour. But it also sees him return to Stannis' favour. In a world of obsequious yes-men and women, Davos' willingness to speak truth unto power was invaluable. It is also through this relationship with Stannis and Melisandre that we see Davos' approach to religion and the unexplainable. He is agnostic, bordering on atheist, but he is not a fool. He believes what he sees with his own eyes. He doesn't pretend to believe in R'hllor, but he also won't deny that Melisandre performs what he calls miracles. That's why he asked for her help to bring back Jon Snow. He is, in a very real sense, a humanist. He doesn't judge people by the standards set by gods or religions, but judges religions and beliefs by human standards of morality. His justifiable distrust of Melisandre doesn't stem from her being a priest of R'hllor, but from her actions, kidnapping, murder and deceit. Take this exchange with Melisandre after he discovered that she had burned Shireen to death. "You burned a little girl to death," he said. She protests that "I only do what my lord commands." And Davos's response is blunt and hard to dispute. If he commands you to burn children, your lord is evil. Here, ultimately, is what he judges people and gods alike on. Not their name or their reputation or intentions, but their actions. And that is ultimately what makes him such a valuable and objective counsellor. But he is more than that. Davos, perhaps more than anyone else on the show, gets people. Time and again he can be seen to understand what someone he has only just met actually wants. It is he who persuades the Iron Bank to back Stannis after they had refused the man himself. And it is he who gets Lyanna Mormont to commit Bear Island's troops after both Jon and Sansa completely misjudge her. It is this human empathy in a world beset by death and suffering that makes Davos such a sympathetic character. There is his touching care for Shireen, the man who lost his children caring for the girl whose father can't love her. And there is his rescue of Gendry, risking the wrath of Stannis and Melisandre. So what is the future for Davos? Well, in the short term he will continue to act as the effective hand of the king in the north. This is not just a convenient new job opportunity for Davos. He has bought completely into the need to muster the forces of humanity to face up against the White Walkers. It was he who persuaded Stannis to head north in the first case to face this threat. And it was he who helped persuade Jon to break free from his resurrection slump to take on Ramsay Bolton. Not because of some notion that Winterfell belonged to the Starks, but because he knew that the North had to be united against the threat from beyond the wall, or all was lost. His humanism is what drives him in this fight. Unlike Melisandre, who sees it as a battle between gods, and if humans die to win the fight for her god, then so be it. Davos sees it as an existential threat to humanity. He doesn't need a priest to tell him good from evil. So I think we will see him using his newfound position to win people over to the need to focus on the threat from the White Walkers. In particular, he will be by Jon's side as he decides on how to respond to the inevitable missive from Daenerys Targaryen, newly arrived in Westeros and demanding that all self-proclaimed kings and queens across the Seven Kingdoms bend the knee to her. I don't think we will need much imagination to know what Davos's advice will be to Jon, that he must do whatever it takes to secure her and her dragon's support in the battle to come. He will advise Jon to give up the throne and title he had just been given for the sake of all humanity. But there may be one more major contribution that Davos makes. There are rumours that Gendry may be making a return in Season 7, and I've set out in another video why I think this might be. Davos is currently the only character in the show who has any idea where he is. And, crucially, he is one of probably only two characters, Arya being the other, that Gendry would trust to draw him back out of hiding. So there is a very real possibility that Davos may head into King's Landing to hunt down Gendry. He would only do this if he was convinced that he could find a safer place for Gendry than the anonymity he left him in. As the only known surviving child of Robert Baratheon, the only place that this could be is Dragonstone, not as an unrecognised bastard, but as a legitimised Baratheon lord under Queen Daenerys. And who better than Davos to act as his guide and mentor once the wars are over and the hard work of rebuilding Westeros must begin? That would be a satisfying ending indeed for Davos. The man who couldn't prevent the death of one innocent Baratheon child, but has a chance to guide another Baratheon into being the wise, caring, strong lord that his father couldn't be. What about you? What do you think awaits Davos in Season 7? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you want to see more like this one, please click on the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, please check out my Patreon page. Thanks again. That's all for this time. I'll see you again soon.